Bye, baby. Bye. Celine. Bye. Mama, Celine.
Why would a married woman go on a wild escapade with her single friend? So there's this story that has been trending online about a man who is probably into harvesting, and he lures young girls to his place of abode, and he does whatever he wants with them. Today we're going to be talking about Andrew Ocheku Amici. He is somebody who hasn't necessarily been known on the internet for as long as we know ourselves, but suddenly popped up with a company name, Black Sheep and stuff. There's been theories that it's not even a real company. So he has come out to the public because the police has, accosted him, and there's a rumor that he's dead, although some people still choose to believe that he's alive. First of all, what's even this story about? I'm sure you must have been seeing different videos of his escapades and things that he had already done in the past before he was caught. Now, before we talk about Andrew's escapades in Nigeria, it's important that you guys know that he used to base in the UK, in the United Kingdom. He was born there, but then there's another fact that he was actually adopted. That's not very necessary to our story, but we're looking at the fact that he grew up in the UK. He already established his business, all right, and he had money. He was doing fine, but that one woman ruined his life, a woman he was in a relationship with, and it affected him both mentally, emotionally, affected his business. According to sources, the woman ruined his life. Okay, so after that relationship, he resorted to abusing any woman he comes in contact with. So there are stories that he was deported, or the UK police rather was looking for him after he abused a particular lady that he was seeing. All right, so he was on the run from the UK police, and he came back to Nigeria successfully. I know that story sounds sus, all right, and this information was given by someone who claims to be his friend of over 10 years, Mr. Ben. So he gave us this narrative that Andrew used to live in the UK, and when the UK police was looking for him, he came down to Nigeria successfully without being accosted at the airport. You and I know very well that foreign law bodies, like law enforcers of most foreign nations are very thorough in their investigation. So imagine a country as big as the United Kingdom losing one Nigerian criminal. Anyways, let's look at some of his escapades in Nigeria. Now, there are videos that have popped online, where he's having a dinner or a meal with, different girls.
So Tucci, tell us, how is your food? Is it nice?
Yes, it's tasty. Thank you. All
It's
thanks.
tasty.
It's tasty.
There's the name Mercy and some others, but we've been able to find out the stories of some of these women. Rachel had she was bold enough to come online and share to people the horror she went through in the hands of Mr. Andrew. So how you find somebody online and you start communicating with the person, you're beginning to like this person, you're seeing this person as a friend, you're getting deeply attached. And so you're like, oh, since I like this person, let's meet up. So many of us have done it before. And it went down. It's normal for people to meet themselves online, and they said, oh, we're going to meet in person. That was the case of Rachel. She thought she was dealing with a normal human being. Now, you know what's crazy? The day she met the man, everything was going smoothly and beautifully until she got to his house. Now, at Andrew's place, she's with her phone, normally like a normal girl, making videos and being all happy and jive because she's with a friend, innit? But then this man out of the blues punches her face, seizes her phone, and begins to abuse her Physically, that is scary. Telling her to her face that he hates her, threatening her with all sorts of things. Now, Rachel's story is quite the ordeal because she was held hostage in his house for 6 days. No food, no water, being raped constantly, continuously. And then, luckily for her, God made a way and she was able to escape that scenario. Now, you know what's funny? Rachel tried to go to the police and, talk about everything that happened to her, but the police wasn't taking her seriously. They didn't want to investigate the issue. It was almost as if they knew what was going on and they didn't want to implicate, or the police didn't want to implicate the young man. Now, after Rachel's case, we didn't really hear much after her report. Like, it wasn't pushed. Maybe because she didn't meet the right sources, she didn't meet the right people, she didn't have the right connections. So she just kept to herself and probably stayed in hiding. His last victims, Celine and Afiba, their stories, or the story of them being missing, is what has broken the internet and brought this man out once and for all. So he has been doing this thing and he has been getting away with it because nobody knows his home address, nobody knows where he stays. He's very careful and detailed. When he got involved with Celine and Afiba is a married woman and a Ghanaian. According to sources, a friend of theirs in Nigeria, Miss Blessing, invited them to come for her wedding. She personally invited Afiba, based on the relationship that Afiba's, the two parties had. Afiba's husband was also well acquainted with Blessing's fiance. And you see that Blessing invited Afiba, oh, come for my wedding. It's normal. Afiba's husband was fully aware of the whole preparations. So the whole narrative of his wife going to Nigeria for, a wild escapade and stuff was not the picture. That wasn't what was painted for him. I mean, Afiba's husband, before the wife moved from the country. So after Afiba had already come down to Nigeria, Blessing said, oh, the wedding has been called off. Why didn't you say it on time? Why did you wait till Afiba came into Nigeria? So Afiba felt, this is my opinion, my honest opinion. It's okay for a friend to just want to hang out. She was in Nigeria after all anyway, so let her make the most of it. And Celine is the one who is pictured to have been in contact with Mr. Andrew. Now, Celine decides, oh, I want to see this Andrew of a guy, right? And there's screenshots of their chat, and they make the arrangements, everything is settled. He proposes to meet them at a hotel. They're supposed to meet him at that hotel. They get to that hotel, and the taxi driver leaves. And he comes to pick them up and take them. Now, you need to understand that these girls don't know where they are, all right? And the only person who knew about, who had their whereabouts, and this is where we're going to talk about Afiba, right? The only person who had knowledge of their whereabouts was this Blessing lady. Blessing had full knowledge of this women's movement. But then you see, Afiba couldn't trust her husband. That's why the narrative that is selling hard. The narrative of her going on a wild escapade is selling faster than the narrative her husband gave. I will be telling you that later on. Now, the initial narrative that was sold is that she went on a wild escapade with her friend. And it's selling so fast because she left on that adventure, on that journey, without even letting her husband know that, oh, honey, look, I'm going so and so place with my friend. She didn't do any of that. The person who was fully aware was Blessing. Now, when things started going south in Andrew's house, Afiba was still texting Blessing. And she was like, oh, see what's going on. You know what? Don't call right now. He's coming. Don't call. From sources, of course. And it's at that point that Blessing decides that she's going to call the more. And this implicates Afiba. And Andrew finds out that, oh, they have a phone with them. And he takes it. And of course, he'll do more damage to the girls. He becomes more physical with them. There's even a video online of both women without any clothes, looking a little bit suspicious on the bed. Here is the funny thing to this story. Before we go down into how he got arrested and, the story started popping out and all that. Before we go into the main issue, I need you guys to understand that there is somebody in the background that Rachel spoke of. And this person has been receiving videos and messages from Andrew. Whenever Andrew is doing his thing, he makes videos, he takes pictures, and is in constant communication with a particular person. Mr. Ben says he's not the one. But then you know what's funny? The video that came out on the internet, some of the confidential videos that Andrew shared with him, it's just him. No other person is coming out to say that, oh, Andrew sent me this type of video. Now, Mr. Ben is trying to wash his hands off the matter, and his own narrative is a two-way thing, and I need you guys to follow me. It could be truly that he was trying to be security conscious, and that's why he didn't say anything about Andrew's escapades while he was still alive. It could actually be that maybe he was actually trying to protect himself so he doesn't get into trouble. Or it could be that he was an accomplice after all. Because, I mean, if you think about it, something is not adding up. Something is definitely not adding up. Fast forward to when Andrew got arrested. Now, how did the Celine and Afiba case go down eventually? So they weren't able to, their people weren't able to reach them anymore. And before you know what was happening, people started making inquiries. Afiba's husband started looking for her. What's going on? The Miss Blessing in question, who's supposed to be this woman's friend, right? She fled from Port Harcourt to Abuja. And it's tricky because now that the police has been involved, if you know she's in Abuja, why is nothing happening? No investigation is taking place, nothing. But before we get down to that, here's the situation. The parents of these girls filed a report to the police station in Abia State because that's where this particular incident went down. The parents filed a report to the police. The police were so uninterested, they didn't even want to move a muscle. As a matter of fact, at some point, the whole thing started falling back on the girls, saying that, oh, they feigned their own kidnap and they're trying to implicate this, man, Mr. Andrew, making him look like the victim. So they didn't want to do anything. But eventually, their people pressed and even involved a higher authority. And when they were asked to release the files of Mr. Andrew to a higher authority, the police station in Abia State, they were not forthcoming. They didn't want to, but they eventually had to, with some necessary arrangements made. It was also realized that when he was in the station, he wasn't even living like someone who's a suspect. He was treated well. He had his phones, he was online, he was active, he was texting and sending videos and sending stuff to his friend Ben. Here's the thing. Why was the police reluctant? This is where the police comes in now. We're going to be talking about Nigerian police. When they eventually found out that, when they got the report that this is what is going on, what did they do? Now, it would interest you to know that when the police eventually got down to Mr. Andrew's house to, arrest him, he didn't want to open the door. One thing led to another and he was able to be convinced and he eventually opened the door. But before that, Andrew was talking with someone while inside. Mr. Ben. He was talking with Mr. Ben when the police was at his door. So he eventually opened the door for the police after Ben had spoken with him. You can't tell me that it's only, a lot of people have every reason to think this way, that it's only, oh no, surrender yourself to the police. And he agreed. Someone as psychopathic as that? No, he definitely told him something that would have given him the mind and the morale to say, okay, fine, let me open the door. There must have been some other plans. There must have been some other things that he was told. Don't worry, probably something like, oh, don't worry, it's all settled. I'm going to talk to so-and-so person. I'm going to talk to so-and-so person. You'll be out in no time. Just follow protocol, lay low. Everything is going to be fine at the end of the day. Because why, if you're not part of what he's doing, if you actually show that you're not in support of his activities, why are you the first person he calls whenever he's in trouble or he has issues or whatever thing that he's doing in his good times, his bad times? Why are you the first person that he's calling? And you actually want us to believe that you're innocent? Because you could have spoken up a long time ago, but no, you decided to keep quiet until this whole issue is blowing. And it's looking like he's trying to do damage control. That's another thing you can call it. He's trying to exonerate himself by looking like the good guy who's trying to say, the good guy. He's not even acting like a friend right now. Because if he were really a friend, he'd still be trying to, fix his friend or even save him before he was shot so that their cover won't be blown. But no, he's snitching. That's what it is. He's definitely snitching. All right. So back to our story, right? So the police, we're talking about the Nigerian police, and a lot of people have been able to see, both from outside the country and within the country, how messed up the system is. it's actually enough to worry. Like, it's enough to cause worry. Rachel, everybody's listening to Rachel now because of how far the matter has been blown. All right? When Rachel complained to the police, they didn't want to do anything. So now everybody's finding out now that the police somehow have been in, in line, whatever it was he was doing. They're trying to cover up for him, because tell me why I would lay a complaint. Police is my friend. That's the motto, their motto here in Nigeria. Police is your friend. If the police is my friend and I come to the police station with a problem, oh look, this man kidnapped me and did this to me, I escaped, the first thing they should try to do is investigate, not trying to collect money from the victim. Rachel made mention of the fact that they tried to collect 200,000 naira from her before they would do anything. She was looking battered. There were evidences that this girl was coming out from hell. And the first thing they do after looking at somebody like that, looking all skinny and almost close to the grave, they're telling her to bring 200,000 naira from where? It's scary, disappointing, and really sad that our law enforcers would be in this kind of, mess. It's twisted. It's horrible. And obviously why Andrew would have gotten away with a lot of shit he did in the past. So now, I want to tell us Afiba's husband's testimony. All right. He, as we all know, Afiba is a married woman. The husband told his own side of the story, saying he wasn't sure that his wife was the person who, had that chat with Andrew, that the whole thing the timing and everything, it looked staged, it looked fake, and that's not how his wife would talk, that's not how his wife would text. He said a lot of things, and it's making sense. It's making sense. It was making sense. But now the question is, if your wife was really sincere with you, if your wife was really honest with you about her movements, at the point where she, let's say, truly, because a lot of people gave a lot of narratives, a lot of people gave a lot of theories that, oh, you know how girls are now, maybe she just wanted to escort her friend, maybe Celine didn't want to have anything to do with Mr. Andrew, in a wild way or in a compromising way, so she took her friend so that he will forget about it. Stories like that. If that were really the case, and she wanted to escort her friend Celine innocently to go and visit somebody that she's been talking with, right? She should have told her husband. You see why the wild escapade story is selling? She didn't tell her husband. That's why it's very believable that chat that was released might actually be the real chat and not fake like the husband proposed. I mean, I would like to say this, okay? I want to say this. Even if they did go for a wild escapade, right? Let's say they did go for the HOOKUP. They were actually going for that. They're not the first, and they definitely won't be the last. I'm not supporting it, okay? But what I'm saying is, they didn't deserve that type of death, or whatever it is that might have happened to them. Because it hasn't been proven that they're killed. They're just missing. And everybody's hoping for the best. But if truly he has hurt them in any way, the job or the line of work they chose to do for themselves is not enough for you to hurt them or do anything dehumanizing to them. It's not enough. Did you also know that there was a decomposing body without limbs and a head rotting away somewhere close to Mr. Andrew's house? And when they found the body, it was wrapped in one of his curtains. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Isn't this enough? I mean, a lot of evidences have been found against this man. It was enough for the police to swing into action. But no, they delayed. And when he was eventually killed, you guys, the story of how he was killed is still a bit unsettling. It's still not making sense. There's every reason to believe that this man might actually not be dead. Yes. Why did I say so? When he was eventually going to be transported from was that Abia State? Yes. To Abuja, when he was going to be transferred to Abuja for the trial or, and the investigation process and everything. You move a frigging criminal in a police car. That's where he's supposed to stay. Handcuffed. He was supposed to be in chains. All right? But no. They put the pieces of evidence, Celine's phone, Celine's bag, Celine and Afiba's bags, their phones, his GUN, and some other things. They put the pieces of evidence in the boot of his Mercedes. And guess what? The criminal was driving himself to Abuja. Seriously, guys, are you even? This is unthinkable. Where does that even happen? In a proper working society, in a country where its laws are being enforced, in a country that has laws, where does that even happen? That a criminal drives himself? And it's crazy, right? That at some point he tried to escape. Of course, he's driving himself. He won't escape. I mean, what were you thinking before? The plan was for him to escape. Whoever it was that made the arrangement for him to drive himself, I don't even know how that happened. All right? But he definitely tried to escape. He got into a police checkpoint and they shot him without hesitation. They just shot him on the way. Like, it's not adding up. It's not making sense. It's not making sense. A lot of people are of the opinion that the dead body that was seen and the supposed corpse of Mr. Andrew, a lot of people have the opinion that that is not him. It doesn't exactly look like him. I mean, it wasn't decomposing, because if he had decomposed to a bad extent, then we can say, oh, we can't make out this face. But the body was still fresh, and people were like, oh, no, that's not what he looks like. That's not really what he looks like. People are not really sure if that's him or a body double. What do you guys think? Do you think he's really dead? Now, before I come to a conclusion of this video, I want to talk about the fact that, because, some people are like, oh no, maybe Blessing is just scared. People are trying to make excuses for Blessing. This character, Blessing, what was her role in all of this? When she realized that, oh, so and so is starting to happen to her friend, why didn't she reach out to the necessary people? Why didn't she call the husband? Why didn't she call the police? Or why didn't she just do anything? Instead, she packed her things and she left for Abuja. Now, the information that she is in Abuja is everywhere, but the police isn't making a move. They still haven't gone to investigate her or whatnot. And Mr. Ben is in the UK giving us different version of what his friend is capable of doing and what his friend is not capable of doing. I mean, how do you even keep a psychopath beside you for 10 years and call him your friend? Everything he's doing, he gets it on camera, he sends to you. How do you want us to believe that you're not part of this? So guys, I want you to tell me something. Do you think that this whole thing is the fault of the girls? Do you think women are to blame? Or the girls that, encountered him, do you think that they're to blame for whatever it is that has happened to them or that has come upon them? In as much as living a life that's not very upright is not advisable, is dangerous actually. But then it's not enough reason to hurt someone. All right? It's not enough reason. I mean, nobody's getting hurt. It's an agreement, right? It's almost like a business agreement. You bring your share, I bring my share, and everybody goes home happy. They're not the first to go into that kind of business. A lot of people all over the world, a lot of girls all over the world are doing the HOOK business, right? They're doing it. It's not enough to say, oh, they deserved whatever it is they got. It's not a yardstick to hurt a human being. But then again, women should be careful. This thing that happened with Mr. Andrew, this is not the first time something like this is happening in Nigeria or in any other part of the world. We've heard stories from the beginning of time. Be careful of strangers. If you don't know somebody, there are a lot of advices. A lot of things have happened that should have made people be more cautious when dealing with people you don't know. All right? You don't just agree to go to a man's house. The hotel was fine. They would have been safe there, trust me. And they got to the hotel. It would have been safe in that hotel environment. At least they know the address of that place. But he came with his car and was like, oh, let's go to my house. And you willingly entered his car. You don't know this place. You're new to this environment. How do you follow somebody to their house? They were careless, yes. But it was not enough to hurt them or to do anything bad or nasty to them. So now, what do you guys think? Who do you think should be blamed, or who do you think should be held accountable for all of this mess? The Nigerian police? The government? Ben? Blessing? Or the girls? What do you think? I mean, it's a really rough one, and a lot of people have been affected by this. But do you think this whole madness could have been stopped? Personally, I feel if Ben had spoken up as at the time Andrew was in the UK, if he had helped the police, the UK police, to accost him, knowing how thorough most of these foreign countries are, knowing how thorough most of these countries are, if they had captured Andrew in the UK, if they had arrested him and discovered that, oh, it's like this guy is having mental problem, I believe you me, they would have sent him to a mental institute or a psychiatric hospital or something. They would have locked him up there in rehab, and he wouldn't have to come down to Nigeria and make the mess he has made already. I'd like to know your thoughts in the comment section. This has been one hell of a case, and we're still looking forward to more stories on this, because this is in the end. I mean, we need to at least, if the girls are dead, we need to at least see their dead bodies, all right? And more information on this particular story is still out, and we are going to follow it through till the very end. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And of course, do not hesitate to click the like button, subscribe, and share to your friends if you enjoyed this video. I will be back with more authentic talks and stories for you. So until then, bye-bye.